If you are ready to experience a healing that you never thought possible, if you're ready to say, this asthma has been bothering me for a long time, or my allergies have been bothering me for a long time, or this gut issue, I'm going to share with you just a simple recipe that you can start any day and start experiencing a healing that you didn't think was possible. That's what we're going to talk about today. Hello and welcome. I'm Annette Reeder from thebiblicalnutritionist.com. And today it's about let's heal the gut through the foods that God has given us in the Bible diet so that we can experience the abundant life physically as He promises us spiritually. Well, today it's about fermenting vegetables. I am so still caught up in the effect of our retreat. We just had a retreat and one of the teachers was Craig Shonda. Craig's testimony is for years he suffered with asthma and allergies. He did everything traditional, he did everything natural, nothing worked until he started consuming fermented vegetables and kombucha. Well, today I'm going to talk about that fermented vegetables. Craig's testimony is just it's so amazing to see how God's foods actually bring healing. Now, if you're saying, I wish I could hear Craig's testimony, well, you can. Plus, he taught classes at our retreat on how to do kombucha and fermented vegetables. So I'll put a link to those recordings down below. But today I just want to share with you the simplicity of doing this. So the first thing we're going to do, today we're going to make some fermented carrots, some cucumbers, and some cabbage slaw. And it's real simple. You already have these ingredients. We're going to start with a half a gallon of filtered water. Now, filtered is very important. We want the purest quality water we can have. And so for my home, we use the Water Drop house filter. It's an under the cabinet filter, reverse osmosis, plus a mineralizer. And it gives us very good quality water. Now, if you're not sure about the quality of your water, you can have your water tested. Our water tested extremely good, which I was kind of shocked, but I still go to the extreme of making sure it's filtered above that. So we use the Water Drop filter. Next, so we have a half a gallon of that. To that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar. Now, I say sugar, but for you that have been watching and following me, you know it's sucanat. So it's a sugar cane natural, that's just dried sugar cane. So it's not a white processed sugar. Okay, to this, I'm going to add some salt. The quality of your salt is important, not just to your own health, but to everything you're cooking with. And so I always recommend just one brand. It's called Redmond's Real Salt. We are going to use 1/4 a cup of salt for that. In fact, I always jokingly tell people when I'm at their retreats or speaking in their church, if your salt says rains when it pours, the next time it rains, pour it out. Just go ahead and pour it on the ground, anything you want to kill, and get rid of any salt that claims that. Because that salt is very little real salt and more additives, which I do not want you to be consuming. So I just want you to do real salt. When you understand salt from the biblical perspective and also the nutritional perspective, you'll know why you feel so much better when you do real salt.
Struggling with cravings, fatigue, or confusion about your health? You're not alone. But you don't have to stay stuck. Get the free Bible Health ebook and discover 7 powerful steps to real, lasting transformation God's way. Break emotional eating. Learn what truly satisfies. Align your health with God's truth. This is your breakthrough. Get your free Bible Health ebook now on the website, thebiblicalnutritionist.com. It's time to take the first step toward vibrant health, both physically and spiritually.
Now, I call it real salt because that is the brand name, but I really mean just real salt with the minerals that come with it the way God designed. And if this is seeming foreign to you, like I didn't really realize salt was in the Bible, well, it is. It's in there many times because of the covenant. And if you want to know more about foods in the Bible, be sure and check out the Treasures of Healthy Living Bible study. It takes you from Genesis to Revelation to go through all of the different foods in the Bible. It's perfect for an individual or a family or even as a church group. All right, so what I'm making here is called the brine. It's just salted water with a little bit of sugar, which we're going to use that to feed our vegetables. And I want to get that dissolved. And if I don't use all of this today in our recipes, then I'll just store it in the refrigerator, and it's good for up to a week. All right, now what I have already done is I've taken my carrots, I went ahead and peeled them. Sometimes I just scrub them really good, and I packed them tight into the jar. And so, actually, these two are a little bit tall, so I'm going to break them off just a little bit because I want them all tucked in tight below the bend of the jar. And so if you find vegetables on sale at the grocery store, no matter what grocery store you shop at, I did buy organic, but carrots are not on the high pesticide list as far as being like number 1 or up to number 5. So even if you buy them that are not organic, still when we ferment them, we're going to get such a nutritional boost for our food. So go ahead and pack the jar tight with the carrots. The same is true of the cucumbers. Again, I used organic cucumbers, but you can get cucumbers out of your garden or from the farmer's market. Yeah, we're not limited on where we can buy food. We're limited on where we think we can buy food. And so understanding that. So these 2 jars, I already have them packed tight. And what we're going to do is we're going to top them off with the brine. And what I want to do is I want to make sure all of the vegetables are covered. And my carrots were a little tall, so I had to take that pretty high. Put that over there. And this is going to sit anywhere from 4 to 14 days. It doesn't usually take that long, but it depends on the flavor that you're looking for. So my cucumbers are not quite as high in the jar, so I can stop right there. So what I'm going to do is I will be putting these on the counter. I'm also going to use a lid. Now this is a special fermented lid, so you can see it has holes in it for the gases to escape, and then it also has the center which kind of keeps the vegetables under the water. Now in a tight jar like this, I don't have to use a weight on top because the vegetables are packed in tight enough, they're not going to bubble up to the surface. So I want to top that off. Now I can also just use a regular lid. I just don't want to put it on tight. I just want to kind of set it there. And then, because I need the gases to be removed. And sometimes as they start to ferment, it'll start bubbling over. So I'll put them on a tray on the shelf so it can catch the bubbling over. And that's totally okay. It means everything's doing exactly what it's supposed to. So those 2 are done there. Now I wanted to show you one more. Now, if you notice, we're not using expensive foods. We're not using anything expensive gadgets or anything. Yes, I did buy this lid, but you don't have to. This is just an easy way to feed your family healthy foods. And the other thing is you only need 2 tablespoons of the fermented foods per day to re-heal your guts. And your gut lining, the leaky gut lining, actually heals in 3 days. There's a lot of 3s when you start going through scripture. When my husband first started the health transformation that we did, he was on Probiotic and had been on it for many years. The doctor said, oh, you have to take this the rest of your life, which I didn't agree with, but I didn't know how to overcome it. So basically, within 3 days of changing our diet, he says, I don't think I need this anymore. Well, that's been since 2005, and he has not needed it since. So 20 years, we have been prescription free. And that's amazing because a lot of people are it's assumed you're going to be on a prescription. Well, I assume I'm not, and so I do everything possible not to. So I have some peppers and some cabbage here that I chopped up. But you may notice in my jar, I also have some chopped garlic. And you can add seasonings, you can add garlic to any of these just to change the flavor. And so I could also add in some dill or some parsley, and that would be good as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put in some cabbage. And I'm just going to go ahead and stuff my jar. I'm going to be putting in the peppers, and I'm just going to fill the jar up. So when you see foods on sale, like let's say it's around St. Patrick's Day and cabbage is always on sale around St. Patrick's Day, you would stock up and you would just start making fermented vegetables. You can feed your family very inexpensively if you just start watching for specials. If you just start watching for food to go on sale so that you can stock up on it. Well, how do we stock up the best? We ferment it. And then we always have good foods to feed our family. When we heal the gut, we start healing the entire body. So I know a lot of people will do this with letting the cabbage soak in some salt. So when we heal the gut, we start healing the entire body. Women who have hormonal issues and fertility issues, if we want that to reverse itself, then we start healing the gut. And fermented foods is where we go for that. If we need to improve the immune system, we heal the gut. If we want to improve the brain, we want to keep ourselves in a very much an anti-tumor state, we heal the gut first. Fermented vegetables are just a very inexpensive way of doing that. So I want to pack in as much as I can in this jar. so that I can really fill this up. So what I'm saying here is these foods are very much anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, and just gut healing. They have to be anti-inflammatory to heal the gut because the gut is inflamed. And it's inflamed because of the foods that we eat more so than chronic disease. So I'm just gonna push this down kind of below the bend in the jar. And then I'm gonna top this off with our brine. And then we're just gonna let this sit on the counter. We will start watching it, and then around day 4, we will start sampling it to see if it is the flavor that you like. And it can stay on the counter as long as it's still working towards the flavor that you like. Now this one, I do have some vegetables that are gonna float to the top, so I will be keeping an eye on this one. Add some more salt brine. And then I am going to be using the fermented lid for this one. There we go. And that will keep it in the juice. And we're good to go. So again, let this sit on your counter, put it on a tray in case it bubbles over, which is totally okay. If it does start to grow a scum on top, you can just take that off. If it starts to mold, well then we need to remove that. And this is one way, very inexpensive, that you can start changing the health of your family. Young children, as young as 1 year old, can start eating these foods. Every age can start eating these foods. And we need to heal the gut because that is where healing begins. And so I hope you enjoyed this. Put in the comments down below if you're already fermenting vegetables or you're just getting ready to try it for yourself. There are so many books out there in the library that you can grab and learn even more. But the main thing is get started trying it, and just start with something simple. Start with something as simple as carrots. You can find them at any grocery store. And you probably have a jar that you can use with the lid. All right, well, thanks for letting me share with you God's recipe for excellent health. I love being able to share with you ways that you can help your family to start healing, especially our children, and so you can experience God's recipe for excellent health, both physically and spiritually. If you haven't yet visited my website, go to thebiblicalnutritionist.com. If you want to know how do I start the Bible diet, click on the Start Here, and that's a free download. It's what I do. It's the same steps that I start with every client that I work with on how to start healing the body, both physically and spiritually, and it's totally free just for you. So check that out as well, and I can't wait to meet you in the Biblical Nutritionist family.
Struggling with cravings, fatigue, or confusion about your health? You're not alone. But you don't have to stay stuck. Get the free Bible Health ebook and discover 7 powerful steps to real, lasting transformation God's way. Break emotional eating. Learn what truly satisfies. Align your health with God's truth. This is your breakthrough. Get your free Bible Health ebook now on the website, thebiblicalnutritionist.com. It's time to take the first step toward vibrant health, both physically and spiritually.